Well, hello, Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce member. Thank you for taking the time to view this short seminar on how to get working capital without having collateral or good credit. I really appreciate the Chamber of Commerce here in Huron Valley for putting on meetings like this during this special period of time. We do want to help business owners, and I am located right here in downtown Milford on Main Street. Right next door to Verizon, if we can ever help you. But what we want to do is we want to show people how they can benefit, because it is our aim to serve what we call rock star business owners. All of you in the community who are business owners, you took risks. You are the rock stars of capitalism, frankly. You make things happen. You do employ America. And Main Street does become Wall Street one day, if it ever grows up to that. But obviously on the way there, we all need help in growing. And that's why I started this company. I've been a business owner since 1991 and always found getting working capital was the most difficult thing to do, even when business was growing and thriving and profitable. So in 2015, after I sold my last company, I decided I was going to start a company to help serve that, what I think is a vacancy. And I think you'll probably agree. And that's collateralized, free, bad credit funding available to business owners. And that's what we have. Now, why is it important? Well, why are options needed? Well, 99% of all businesses, according to the SBA, are considered small businesses. There's over 30 million of them in America, and we employ, between all of us, about 57 million people. That's the good news. The bad news is most don't make it. Why don't they make it? The number one reason for failure, according to the business owners themselves, is lack of working capital. That's the number one cited reason. But wait a minute, isn't that what the banks are for? Yes, banks are fabulous. Commercial banks, we've got many right here in our town that are great. Unfortunately, they've got regulations and rules they've got to follow that make their criteria a little more difficult for the average business owner. In fact, about 80% of the businesses cannot get approved for a bank business loan. What could they do? And banks are great for credit cards, giving lines of credit, secured business loans, or personal mortgage. All of those require good credit or collateral, right? Line of credit card doesn't, and line of credit doesn't always, but those are very hard to get approved for any sizable amount. And if secured business loans means you need collateral to cover the loan, or you go get a personal mortgage, right? These are the options from banks. And hey, that's great, and it's fabulous. And if you can get approved at a bank, you should. The rates are far lower. It takes much longer to get approved, but the money will cost you a lot less. We're not here to compete with the banks. We're here to support the banks. When they have to say no, we want those clients to know we exist. Just like we have some clients who are bank qualified, and we send them to a bank to get money rather than getting it through us. They can get the money far cheaper. So this isn't designed to take business away from the bank. This is designed to help support the clients at the bank that the bank can't fund. Right? So what about those other 80%? What are their options? Well, they can go to savings, they can go to friends and family, or if they can get approved at a bank for one of these items, they can benefit. So let's say you got a business here and needs $100,000 to expand, to build a patio with some extended seatings, or they want to build a second location, or heck, maybe they're in a tight pinch. What are their options? Well, David Allen Capital, our business is what we call revenue-based funding. We represent all the top revenue-based providers out there. What is that? What does that mean? Well, first of all, we have a solution for those 80% businesses who can't get approved at a bank. We have revenue-based funding, and we have equipment finance. Well, what is that? Well, we represent, you've probably heard of online lending or fintech, financial technology. There's a lot of companies advertising on TV, simple and fast business loans. We don't do our own funding. We represent all of them. So much like a Travelocity will get you the lowest airline price, maybe Delta, maybe Southwest. We don't know until you do a search, right? We don't know what's the best pricing on your funding until we go out and seek the pricing from all the different providers. And that'll depend on type of business, that'll depend on how long in business, how much revenue you're doing, average daily balance, etc. But what we do get is we get one offer, simple and fast, for existing businesses. Now here's the neat thing. As long as you're a business doing sales right now with revenue, we can probably get you an offer. Our providers want to say yes. They focus on small businesses almost exclusively. They look at your cash flow rather than collateral. Are you doing revenue? They can give an offer in under a week, and they can do anywhere from $10,000 to $1 million. In fact, we've had some offers more than $1 million. These are all short-term loans or advances, and again, no collateral is required. Well, how do they do this? What they do is they look at your revenue and say, okay, you're doing revenue every month. You've been doing this for a period of time. We believe that will continue. So we're going to advance you money against that future expected revenue. So sometimes it's a term loan, sometimes it's called an advance. Depends on the state and it depends on the provider. They work the same. You get money now, you pay it back over a short period of time, 3 months up to 24 months. Okay, now the qualifications are far easier to qualify for than a business loan from a bank. First of all, you only need to be in business 4 months. You have to be in the United States. Your personal credit can be as low as 500. You can't be bouncing checks, and you must be doing at least $10,000 a month in revenue. Now, we have some new loans that you only have to be doing $5,000 per month in revenue, but $10,000 a month in revenue is what most of our providers require. Now, how much would you get? Well, first of all, can you see how a business owner, if they had an opportunity they wanted to pursue, or they're in a tight pinch and they can't get approved at their bank, they don't have friends and family who they want to get money from or are willing to give it to them, they don't have the savings, they don't have the collateral they put up, they either have to say no to those opportunities or bear it through that tight pinch, or maybe we could be their funding source. Right? So how much could they get approved for, and how does it work? Well, typically the way it works is if a business is doing $10,000 per month in revenue, we can get them a loan of $10,000 up to $20,000. If someone's doing $50,000 a month in revenue, we can generally get them $50,000 to $100,000. If someone's doing $200,000 a month in revenue, we can generally get them $200,000 to $400,000. So as an example, you usually get 1 to 2 times whatever your monthly revenue is. Now, the more frequent you have deposits, so if you have deposits going in every day because you accept credit cards, maybe you're in retail, you accept credit cards, then what will happen is that shows a lower risk. If you're in construction and you only have 3 or 4 deposits a month because you get paid on the jobs in tranches, that's a little higher risk. If you're in transportation and you only get a couple deposits a month from your contractors, that's a higher risk, right? Because what if those deposits disappear? So frequency of deposit helps, the amount of revenue helps, and then the average daily balance helps. Those are the 3 things that they look at. So for a lot of businesses, we've helped over 1,000 businesses now get over $50 million in funding in the last 5 years. The first 3, I was working from my home. I live up in Prestwick Village neighborhood. It's in Highland, Michigan, local here to Milford. I opened this office in downtown Milford 2 years ago as we were expanding. So we've helped those 1,000 businesses working like we were in the lockdown period already, working from our homes. Now we do have an office. And so if you ever had an opportunity you want to pursue, you're in a tight pinch, we might be able to help you. Now, as I've said, we also have funding now for smaller businesses who are only doing $5,000 a month in sales. So if you're doing at least $5,000 a month in sales, we can probably get you an offer. So again, the banks are great for 20% of the business owners out there who can get approved. We have the answers for the other 80%. Now, I will say this, it's expensive. Okay, the cost of capital is expensive. So what we always say is, does the benefit of getting that $50,000 or that $100,000 outweigh the cost? On average, you're going to pay back 1.2 to 1.4 times what you borrow. So what that means is, if you borrow $10,000, you're going to pay back $12,000 to $14,000. If you borrow $100,000, you're going to pay back $120,000 to $140,000. So if you don't have an opportunity that's going to earn you more than that cost, then you shouldn't proceed, and there's no reason to see what your offer is. Okay. Again, these are collateral-free, high-risk advances and loans from our providers. I can't, we know that that's expensive, but it's very inexpensive when you got a massive opportunity that you need funding for. We've got story after story of people. In fact, I've got one of my first clients was a Mexican restaurant, and they were bursting out the seams as far as staffing. They're outside of Michigan, not staffing, as far as seating, and they always had a line out the door. And the woman applied for a capital. We got her $100,000 offer, but it was at our highest pricing, 1.49 times. So she'd had to pay back $149,000 for that 100. I told her she was declined, frankly, and she was declined from over 30 of our providers. But one provider was willing to give her the money. She had a lot of reasons why it was a high risk. And so I told her she was declined. She was very unhappy about that. She said, "You don't understand. I got a line out the door all the time. I'm missing out on business. They're driving away. I can only seat so many people." And so I told her, "Well, I did get you an approval, but you have to pay back $49,000. It was actually $50,000 in interest. So you're going to pay back $150 on this $100,000 loan in 1 year." She said, "I'll take it." And I said, "You'll take it? That seems a little, risky." And she said, "You don't understand how much revenue." Now, this woman went out and did an extra $400,000 in revenue that year, paid off that loan in 8 months instead of 12, has never needed money again. And all she did was build a lot more seating called a patio off the back with lights, and it's real cool atmosphere. And there's an example of when the opportunity was far greater than the cost. She didn't care what it cost. She couldn't say no to the opportunity anymore. So we'll give you an offer for some if we get them a pricing at our best pricing, 1.19, 1.18 times what you borrow. They borrow 100,000, they got to pay back 118 or 119. They say that's too expensive. For some, that's too expensive because they don't have a real big opportunity, and so they don't want that 20,000 in interest on a $100,000 advance or loan. Right? So it really comes down to what is the opportunity is. If you've got the opportunity worth pursuing, then you should pursue it. So if we can ever help you, we're here to help you right in Detroit or in downtown Milford here. Of course, as mentioned in the preview of this, we do have other services, healthcare, business, telecom, etc. We've expanded into, but our focus is business capital. Now, the chamber did ask me to touch on our payment processing. We've got cash discount payment processing, which can take your fees down to near zero. We've looked at tens of thousands of businesses, their bank statements, and we see people are way overpaying for payment processing. So we decided to partner with some companies, same situation, one-stop best offer. Typically, a business will pay 2.5% to 5% of their sales. As you all know this, you're business owners. We've got all the latest and greatest equipment. Anything you can get, we can get except Square. But we've got Clover, and we've got all the other types of equipment you can imagine. And what we do is we just provide it at a lower cost. But what we're really excited about is our cash discount processing. This is the future. This is what it means, basically. Much like when you go to a gas station and you pay at the gas pump with your card, you're paying a higher price. If you go inside and pay cash, you pay a lower price. It's called cash discounting. It is now sweeping to every type of business out there, and all of our equipment comes with this option where you can have this where the customer will pay a higher price for using a credit card. If they use a debit card or cash, they pay a lower price. It's built right in. We've got all the compliance. And so basically what happens is your merchant processing fees, I've got a friend of mine who owns a donut restaurant in Florida, and he was paying about 8% of sales because, coffee and donuts are low price. So he was paying about 8% of sales when you had that transaction cost and the minimum cost, etc. We put him on cash discount. His fees went from on 40,000 in sales of average, which is just over 3,000 in fees. His fees went down to under $100. And what happens is if a customer chooses to use a debit card, they pay a cash price. If they use cash, it's cash price. If they use a credit card, there's an extra 4% added. So at checkout, instead of that coffee costing $1.80, it's another 4% of that's another 7 cents. So it's a $1.87. But it covers the credit card fees. So if you want to see how you can have the fee passed on to the customer who's choosing to pay with credit card and get your cash flow to be very positive with cash discount, we can help you with that. We offer both standard processing and cash discount, but we do find that over 90% of the businesses are selecting cash discount, and they're saving almost all of their fees they get to retain. So that's huge. And you simply go to our website, and then our experts will take over getting you a quote. So if you have any questions at all, or want to see how much you qualify for in funding, there's a no application fee. You can go to my website, yesdac.com, and click on Get Qualified. You can also come see me. I'm right here in Milford. I am the founder of David Allen Capital. We do now have agents in every state. We do provide business capital in every state, and we're certainly proud of what we're doing. We do believe business owners are the rock stars of capitalism, especially those small business owners, and we want to help them. So if you know a business owner who can't get approved at the bank and has an opportunity, or they're in a tight pinch and working capital will help, let us go to work and help them. Again, thank you to the Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce for putting this together and inviting me to do this. It's my honor to do it. We're here to help you. Let's continue to make the Valley strong, the state strong, and the country strong. Appreciate you all. God bless.